Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Raji Cross, and today, on behalf of the Indigenous Student Ambassadors program at Champlain College Saint-Lambert, I will be presenting Kanienkeha, an introduction to basic words and pronunciation. Um, in talks with our group, the Indigenous Student Ambassadors program, we seen that there was a large gap in terms of how students can feel more comfortable in the school in terms of language. Once they leave our community, there isn't much representation of our language, and we thought that by providing a resource for teachers or any staff of the Champlain community to use, that it would really help um, create a sense of home or belonging within the school setting for our students, especially going forward. So, with these basic words, anybody can have just small, basic interactions with students and make them feel comfortable. So, with that, we'll move on to some of these words. Thank you. So, for our first word, we have Kanyenkeha. 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 So, what this word is, it's hard to translate, but it's basically the language of the Kanienkehaka, which we'll get to a little bit further. But the Mohawk people, you might know them as, or the Kanienkehaka people, this is the language. This is the word that we use to describe that language. So again, ga, nya, ke, ha. With the little accents in there, we have after the en, we have a glottal stop, and then next we'll have on the ke we have an upstress. So when you put that together we have ga nya, it's sort of a stop, and then ge, the word sort of the upstress sounds like it's going up, ge ha, ganya geha. And you can see I'm using some of my body language just to sort of express that and make those little nuances a little bit more apparent. Next we have Kahnawake. So Kahnawake is the community that many students at Champlain College Saint-Lambert, the Indigenous students, may be coming from. And this community isn't too far from Champlain, only about 25 minutes. Um, so again, the word means by the rapids, and it's pronounced Kahnawake. Kahnawake. You might hear some people sort of glance over that first H there, and they'll say Ganawage, but this isn't quite correct. Something that's important for you to know when you're pronouncing this word is that you have to emphasize the H. And one trick to know that is if you put your palm to your mouth, and if you could feel the breath on your palm, you're pronouncing the H good. So it's gah, gah. You release some of that breath. Gah nawage. I had made mention of this word previously. Kanienkehaka. Kanienkehaka, which is the people of the Flint, otherwise known as the Mohawk people. And this word you pronounce ga nya ge ha ga Kanienkehaka. So one part of this word that a lot of people get tripped up on is the nien. It's sort of a weird noise, but it's ga nya nien nya ga nya gehaga. That would be the word for the people of the Flint, the Mohawk people. So if you're reading a resource or you want to be talking about the Mohawk people but use some of the language, you could say the Kanienkehaka. Tiohtiake. This is one of the words that people may be more familiar with, which generally translates to Montreal. That's what people would probably know more. There are different ways to sort of translate this word, and one of them is where our group broke apart. And again, for the pronunciation of this word, it's johjage, 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 johjage. Again, you can hear that H as we talked about before, having that breath come out and feeling it on your palm. Joh, joh, joh jage. Not joh jage, joh jage. The next word that we have is commonly used. It's Onkwehonwe. 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 So what this word translates to is original people. And a lot of the time, you'll see the Kanienkehaka people or other indigenous people use this word to refer to each other or to other indigenous communities as Onkwehonwe, as original people. Some of the words that are coming up are a lot easier to say, and these are more commonly referred to as particles. These are words with some less actual translation or meaning. It's sort of hard to explain what a particle is, but you can see that these words are shorter. So here we have the word nyawa, 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 nyawa. And this can be used to say thank you. So if somebody said something to you and they complimented your shirt, you could say nyawa, thank you. So the next word we have is yo, yo, yo. So the word yo is generally used as an acknowledgement or you're welcome. Most commonly, it would be used as you're welcome. So again, if someone were to say nyawa, thank you, you would reply with yo, you're welcome. It is also used as an acknowledgement if we were at a meeting and someone brought up a really good point. Some people might use yo as a sort of acknowledgement for what has been said. So here we have two words that mean hello, but I'll get into a little bit more detail. So first we have segum, 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 segum. This word, it means hello. But there are other translations that go a little bit deeper. Some might say segum actually translates to are you of sound mind? Are you of good mind? As more of that hello, but not actually hello. The other word we have is gue, gue, gue. And this is more of an informal hello. It's more just like hello. There's less translation to it. The sego has a little bit more history and can be broken down a little bit more. Gue is more just generally used as a hello. Now we have ona, 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 ona. This is used as a goodbye. There are other sort of translations for this word. It can be used in different ways, but most commonly it's going to be used as ona, a goodbye. So if someone were to say segum at the start of your conversation, you can reply with segum or gue. And then now when the conversation is done and you're now leaving, you could say ona, goodbye. So for the last word that are commonly used that you could use in the classroom, we have it's sort of a long one here. It's what kunweradum. What kun nu we ra dum. What kunweradum. What kunweradum. This word can it has two sort of meanings. One is a general welcome, welcome, and this is to me to you. Um, there are other ways to say welcome to all of you, but for this one, it's what kunueradu. If you were to say it to a group, you might say what kwa nueradu, what kwa nueradu. But for this word, I'll get back to it. It's what kunueradu. This means welcome or congratulations. So as I mentioned, there's sort of two meanings here. You can use it as a welcoming. If people were to come into your class, you could say what kunueradu. And if people had done something good, what kunwarado, you can congratulate them on that. So for the next two words, they're not necessarily words that you're going to commonly use. They're actually names. But this is just to give you a little bit more, just a few more syllables so that you know how to, maybe you can pick from it when you have a student in your class and you see their name. You can ask those students how to pronounce their name correctly, but you could also refer back to this and look if there's any connections. So the first one is the Hotaraja, which I mentioned at the start is my name. This there's different translations, depends on who you ask, but the common freeze, he is the common freeze. Um, he is bringing the cold. There's different translations, but for the pronunciation, it's da ho to ra je, the Hotaraja. So something to pick out here is you could see the da, the T is a D, da, ho, ho, to, the THO is to, ra, ra, you have to roll the R, ra, and then the TIE is J, the Hotaraja. Again, you can ask the student to help you pronounce their name just so that you can ensure that you're getting it correctly. But you could also use this word and the following word as sort of a guide to maybe some of the syllables that you may see. Next, we have the word for she gathers the leaves. This is another name. Ga ne ra to rum kwas. Ganera tornukwas. So again, we'll go through it. Ga ne ra. Again, a little bit of the H. Ganera. To rum rum rum. So again, we are rolling that R. Kwas. 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 Ganera tornukwas. So with that, I just wanted to take a few minutes to just say thank you for finishing the video and taking the time to learn some of these words. We understand that it may be difficult and you may not get it on the first try and that it takes time. There are still many people in our own communities who can't speak and are trying to learn also. So there's no pressure to have it perfectly the first try. We hope that this guide um, can help anybody learn some of these words and use them a little bit more so that our indigenous students at the school can feel comfortable and feel that this is a safe space for them. The schools that they go into, these CJOs, aren't always necessarily made with indigenous people in mind, and these are the small steps that we can take just to ensure that our students have the best possible outcome and feel comfortable and welcomed in an institution that they'll spend a lot of time in. So with that, we thank you, and I just want to say nyawa.